Single sign-on, or SSO, is an authentication process that lets a user access different systems with a single set of credentials. In other words, SSO allows you to log into multiple applications using the same username and password, eliminating the need for multiple usernames and passwords. This is achieved using an SSO server that stores the credentials and checks the authorization to log into each application. This central authentication server can be thought of as a master key that unlocks all kinds of different locks. In a time when we access more applications than ever before, this greatly helps reduce password fatigue and simplify the user experience. Plus, it allows quick access to new applications without needing to re-register. There's also enhanced security, thanks to centralized authentication. Since you only have one password to remember, you can use more complex passwords and enable multi-factor authentication for the initial user login. Finally, SSO allows for simplified tracking of operations performed with the unique identifier, providing an overall view of application logins. To fully understand the SSO process, let's look at what happens if you want to access LinkedIn using your Google account. First, the user tries to access the service provider, here, LinkedIn. Applications that want to use SSO are set up as service providers. At this point, the user is presented with login options and selects Sign in with Google in this example. The service provider, LinkedIn, then redirects the user to the identity provider, here, Google, with an authentication request. The identity provider will ask the user to authenticate. Once the identity provider receives the request, authentication takes place. So, it's not LinkedIn that verifies who you are, but Google. The identity provider, Google, also requests authorization to use your account to log in to LinkedIn. The identity provider checks the submitted credentials. If the credentials are correct, the identity provider creates an SSO token. An SSO token is a set of data passed from one system to another during the SSO process. Since the identity provider has established a session, when the user accesses another service provider, for example Airbnb or Tinder, he won't need to enter credentials again. Future service providers request authentication from the identity provider, recognize the existing session, and grant the user access based on the previously authenticated session. Within a company, there will be an SSO server acting as an identity provider. This server becomes the central hub for managing user credentials and authentication. Some popular SSO solutions include Azure Entra ID, Okta, Ping Identity, OneLogin, and Google Cloud Identity Platform. SSO is based on the concept of federated identity, which involves sharing identity attributes, like name, email address, etc., with other systems. When a user is approved by one system, they automatically gain access to all other systems that have a trust relationship with the first system. SSO is implemented using protocols like OpenID Connect and SAML. Within a company, there will be an SSO server acting as an identity provider. This server becomes the central hub for managing user credentials and authentication. Some popular SSO solutions include Azure Entra ID, Okta, Ping Identity, OneLogin, and Google Cloud Identity Platform. SSO is based on the concept of federated identity, which involves sharing identity attributes, like name, email address, etc., with other systems. When a user is approved by one system, they automatically gain access to all other systems that have a trust relationship with the first system. SSO is implemented using protocols like OpenID Connect and SAML. However, SSO can pose a security risk by allowing an attacker to access all of a user's applications. To counter this, companies can use multi-factor authentication. Additionally, measures such as restricting access to certain applications or imposing conditions, like accessing from a secure network, can be implemented to enhance security. Furthermore, SSO is a major feature of IAM for identity and access management. If you're not familiar with IAM, I invite you to watch my video on the topic. Thank you so much for watching my video, and subscribe to my channel to stay updated on my latest content and upcoming videos. Until then, take care.